Hello everyone, Phil here, and welcome to the Level 1 Podcast. Today is Monday, the 18th of December, 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, if you can believe it, 1 week until Christmas. At this very time next week, it will be Christmas morning. All of us will be opening our presents, drinking festive Christmas cordials, partaking in gourmet foods, and dealing with very annoying relatives. Or some combination of that. I'll be dealing with some of that, not all of that. And that's a good thing. You know? Some combination of those, right? Can you believe that? I don't know if you can believe it. It seems like time has absolutely positively flown by this year. For me, this summer dragged on so effing long. The summer never wanted to end. It was hot. There wasn't much going on besides like Street Fighter 6, and it was just like, man, will it ever end? And then it ended, and then all of a sudden, we got thrown into the busy fall gaming season. October flew by in a flash. Then I got sick, lost a week of October, being so sick, missed out on Halloween. Next thing you know, when I came back, it was already November. Then it was Thanksgiving, and now it's about to be Christmas. Like, what is going on here? It's wild. This is how life works, especially as you get older. When you become an adult, time passes differently. The times that you don't want going on take forever, and the times that you want to be around for the longest go by in a flash. But I guess that's just the human condition, or at least part of it, right? Anyway, this final week leading up to Christmas will be a good one here on DSP Gaming, and of course also on my React channel, DSP Reacts, but mostly here on DSP Gaming, as I have special events planned coming up for this week that are holiday themed. We've got great gameplay streams coming up this week that'll be excellent. Today, particularly, I'm very excited for. And so I hope you guys are too. So welcome to the show. Today, I don't particularly have too much crazy stuff to talk about. There's a few game news stories to discuss. So let's dive in, shall we? First of all, yesterday's content was pretty good. The React show yesterday, if you missed out on DSP versus the internet yesterday, you really missed out on a great holiday-themed show. Because, man, it was all, or I should say not all, but mostly, let me get this door a little bit out of frame. There we go. Looks a little better with the door out of frame. Mostly holiday-themed content. All right? Lots of Christmas stuff was submitted. So we saw Christmas in Singapore. We saw someone try to make a Christmas spread of food and fail miserably. We saw all kinds of stuff. Holiday fails and pranks. Silly, scary animatronics. All kinds of stuff. That was all Christmas related. It really worked out very well, and I really enjoyed it. Right now, 3 videos should be live. Yes, because it was 2 videos went live yesterday, and 1 went live this morning over on DSP Reacts, my sister channel. That's youtube.com/@DSPReact. If you're interested, give it a look. And, yeah, so 3 live and 3 going live, 1 a day for the next 3 days. If you're a member over there, then you will actually be able to watch that archive stream right away. That's one of the benefits of being a member. And also, if you're a member over there, You nominate the clips for that show every week. 1 week left for holiday festive fun because the next React show is on Christmas Eve, Sunday. So that'll be fun to be watching Christmas-themed clips on Christmas Eve. It'll be very nice. That is true. Swaggle Needle says we saw some Christmas brats. Oh, God, I almost forgot. The clip, 2 kids opening up a present. It's a PS5, and the kid outright says directly to his mother, I don't want it, bring it back. I wanted a PC for Christmas. This was a young kid. This wasn't like an adult. This was a young kid wanted a gaming PC for Christmas. Like, he's going to even know how to do it, right? Like, wow. Anyway, it was good. Check it out, okay? Last night, we did a fun Modern Warfare 3 stream. Now, admittedly, I don't think this stream was as fun as the last one because in the last one, I unlocked the Akimbo Renetti handguns. And we went to town, killing everyone, getting insane kill streaks, multiple score streaks in one session, and even a chopper gunner. Last night, basically what happened was I didn't get the good map selections that I gotten that time before. Like, I wasn't getting Afghan or Rust, or I think I only got Terminal once. So, you know, with the map selection, it was more apt to be better mid to long range combat than short range. On the maps that are short range combat, that's when the dual Renettis really shine. Still had a good time, but it's funny. We actually started listening, or not listening, observing a pattern. Every single time that Modern Warfare 3 says you have a 28 millisecond connection, the game has done skill-based matchmaking and the game lags. We tested it. Every time it said 28, it's like, why does it say 28 almost like these certain matches? Because other matches are like 11, 12, 13, 18, and then it'll be above, like 30, 40. Then all of a sudden, 28, 28, 28, 28. How is it always 28? That doesn't even make sense. How would it always hit 28 milliseconds no matter what? Because it's bullshit. It lies. It hits skill-based matchmaking, and then you get a match where everything's laggy, but it lies and claims it's 28 milliseconds to fool you into thinking, oh, maybe it's you or whatever. It's not. We outright tested it and found this to be the case. So, it was still fun, but definitely not as crazy and zany as the last session. But we still had a good time, and anyone who was there, thank you. Check out the vids. They're live now. And, you know, still some... The funny part about it is, for some odd reason, even though I'm not great at Call of Duty, I'm just not. I'm not a regular player. I play it, what, once a week, twice a week, if that, right? Last week I played none because I was doing Warzone. How am I at the top of the leaderboards pretty much every game? Some matches I'm outright way in the lead. Some matches I'm at least top 3. It's like, why am I always up there? It doesn't make any sense. Only matches where I'm trying out a new weapon with no attachments that I'm purposefully like trying to get the daily objective kills. That's the only times I'm like at the bottom of the leaderboard. How the hell is it that I'm always up there? It just doesn't make sense at all. You would think if it was a true system that made sense with the way it matchmakes that I wouldn't be up there ever. I shouldn't be good, but it's just stupid. Anyway, so I had fun with it, and there'll be more of that later this week. We'll talk about that in a minute. So today is a great day, guys. Here's why. Because today, we are returning to Baldur's Gate 3. And if you're not aware, today marks the 1 week anniversary of when I started my Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough. It was last Monday when I started it up. We had like 1,400 viewers on that stream, right? People were outright ecstatic to see me play this game. As you know, it's been very slow going over the 9 hours that I've played the game so far. I'm trying to learn slowly how to play this and all the game mechanics and everything. And I'm still learning. You know, we're 9 hours in, and every single stream people are like, you could do this, you could do that. I mean, last stream, we found out that you could speak to the dead and then speak to them again, but you have to add a new radial to your menu to do that. And I'm learning how to target things properly, and you guys are giving me advice. You know, I unlocked my tier 2 spells, and people were like, okay, so these are some good spells, pick from those. And, oh, okay. I look at their abilities, I think this will help, and I pick the certain ones. You know, so it's been interesting because of the interaction and the engagement. If, again, I keep saying this, if I were playing this game for myself, okay, I likely would not be enjoying it nearly as much. And I mean that. Like, I'll hold to that statement. If I were playing Baldur's Gate 3 by myself, without your engagement, without your help, I would be confused, not understanding half the game mechanics, and basically it would not be a very fun playthrough for me. Much like the first time I played Dark Souls, it was the same deal. Now, once I finally got your help to understand how to play Dark Souls ended up being super fun, right? And that's the difference here. And maybe with your help through this initial playthrough of Baldur's Gate, maybe these kind of games will now become better for me and something that I'll want to do in the future, right? So we'll see. And by the way, I could say 1 week in, I can absolutely see why people love this game, why many people pick this for their game of the year. It's charming. It's got good writing. It's got good graphics. The gameplay mechanics are sound, albeit very complicated, but they're still sound, and there seems to be an insane amount of content in the game, right? We haven't really had any issues with bugs or anything. It seems pretty polished, too. Now, maybe that's only because I'm in the early areas. I don't know. But we'll find out the further in that we get. And the good news is we got this week, we got next week, and essentially part of the first week of January until I do my Game of the Year stuff. So we do have potential that this game will be ranked in there. I'll see. I'll let you know by the time we get there. By then we'll be another, 10, 20 hours in the game, and that'll be a good way to maybe judge, overall in relation to all the other games this year, how I would rank it. So we'll see. But anyway, yeah, so I'm enjoying the playthrough a lot. I'm excited for today, simply because, and by the way, this is the first time we're seeing this animation all year. Thank you, Lucifer Soul, for an insanely huge super chat this morning. $100. Thank you so very much. Christmas Story, as you can see, one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. That's why I'm in it. That's why I played all the roles of the movie, as you can see. I was Ralphie, Santa, and the Elf all in one scene. Pretty amazing. Okay. So, I'm very excited for today's stream. Now, as I've told you, I'm observing how this game is doing in my content and my streams, all right? Overall, here's how it's going. First stream, to the moon. 1,400 viewers, insane engagement, insane support, wild, but I think we all expected that for the premiere stream. Second stream did pretty good. I think we had 600 to 700 viewers, which is almost double my usual viewership. Engagement and support was great. Last stream, we had about 400 viewers. That's way down now, okay? I would say that's on par with any AAA game that I'm playing that's a new release. Usually for that new games, I'll get around 400 viewers. That's on par for like a Dark Souls style FromSoft game. Like, that's the kind of audience that I had when I was playing Lies of P and stuff like that earlier this year. I'm okay with that, as long as people still show up, engage, in support. And you absolutely did. That last stream, engagement was great, support was good. I cannot complain. It was fun, and I'm learning, and I'm doing better. So, thank you for that. I just hope that we can stay at that level. I would hate for this game to start dipping way down into low attendance and low engagement, because like I said, it really is the engagement that's keeping me going and making this interesting. I like the fact that since I don't understand this game, okay, since I am hanging out with you guys, and you guys are explaining these things to me I don't get, and helping me with advice on how to pick abilities and spells, that's what's keeping me going and keeping me really engaged and interested in it, honestly. So, and you know what? To some extent, that started with Divinity Original Sin 2, but then it went away. So I hope it doesn't go away for this game. I want you guys to stick around and hang out with me. It feels like a fun social session whenever I play this game, where everyone is enjoying seeing me play it, because I don't know anything about it. It's me, first time, honest reaction, honest impressions, honest gameplay, with no outside influence besides the live advice I'm getting. So I love this, and I want to keep it going. So I hope you guys will stick around. I know many of you for the podcast here will hang out. We got 345 people for the podcast. See, hopefully today we'll get around 400 viewers again for the game. That would be great. Now, am I going to be staring at the viewers all stream? No, I'm not. As I've told you, for me, okay, the deal is thus. As long as we are all having a good time, people are engaged, and yes, I get some support on the stream, that's all I care about. That's it. It all goes hand in hand. I'm enjoying myself, you're enjoying. Because of that, we get that interactive engagement. It becomes an entertaining session, and then people want to see that continue, so they'll support it. Simply put, that's the formula for success when you're not someone who's playing the flash in the pan, hype popular games. When you're someone who doesn't have a million viewers on your content, that's the formula for success that I found in 15 years. So I hope we keep that going. I want to. I'm not lying. I would love to play this game as long as I possibly can, until we absolutely have to put it on the back burner because new releases hit in January. And you might say, well, how long will we have? What is that? I don't know yet. We're actually going to be doing a schedule update this Saturday during my Christmas marathon. That's when we're going to see what games are coming out when, and we'll be able to figure out when there'll be things pulling me away from having Baldur's Gate 3 as a mainstream in my rotation. Okay, so we'll find that out sooner rather than later, and then we can answer those questions. Okay? So, Baldur's Gate 3 today on the daytime stream. 3+ hours of progress. We'll probably be around 12 hours in by the end of today's stream. And I'm excited for that, okay? In fact, I'm trying to remember where we finished. I know we fought the Owlbear, and I can't remember exactly where we left off. I know we fought the Owlbear, and we left, and we were going somewhere else. Oh, that's right, the dog, right? We ran into the dog, who his owner had died. And we had talked to the dog and said, hey, meet us back at camp. And it sounds like he's going to be a party member, right? So, what some people were saying is that because I drank that potion where you could talk to animals, that I should fast travel, which I don't even know how to do, that I should fast travel back to camp, and then, not camp, to town. And then in town, there's animals you can walk around and talk to, and it opens up whole new dialogue and missions. So maybe I should do that, right? I don't want to waste that talk to animals potion, so maybe we should go do that as the next thing we do in the game. I guess we'll see. Well, you guys guide me and give me your recommendations, and we'll figure this out today, okay? But it sounds like fun to me. All right, so anyway, that's the major stream for today. Tonight on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, as we talked about this over the last week back and forth, and I came to the conclusion over the weekend, we are going to continue with Street Fighter 6 for the next month. But only for the next month, because when Tekken 8 comes out, that's going to be the fighting game that will take priority, and I'll cover in full with the single-player campaign, and then taking characters in the training mode, learning them. I'll be watching some videos, trying to learn Tekken, going online and trying to get good at Tekken 8. But really, the success of Tekken 8 is going to depend on how good the game performs. How does it play online? Does it run like shit? Is it laggy? Or is it actually good? If it's good, I'll have more incentive to want to learn this game more. If the game's laggy online, I'll probably play it for a week or two and then drop it, just like I did Mortal Kombat, you know? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on a game that runs like shit. So I guess we're going to see when it comes out. But we have 1 month, all right, until that comes out. So I'm going to focus in on Street Fighter 6. We're going to do more Dalsim tonight on the late stream. Try to get my Dalsim back up to 1,500 master points. He started at 1,500, and that first stream that I played in Master was so laggy and horrible, I lost all the way down to 1,300, but now last stream I got up at like another 60, so maybe tonight I can gain another 60, maybe another 2-3 streams, we'll get him back to the 1,500, right? But by the way, no, the whole next month I'm not just going to play Dalsim, I want to mix it up and go back to, say, Blanca, but the thing is, I'm so rusty with Blanca now, I haven't used him in ages, I'll probably have to do a stream of casual play to get, used to playing with him again before we can go back to that. No, I have no interest in Grand Blue. Grand Blue Fantasy, we played that. We played that like 2-3 years ago. Absolutely nobody cared about it. I was learning it and getting good at it. The entire audience didn't give two shits about that game, so I stopped playing it. It's that simple. Anyway, so Street Fighter 6 tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. The climb with Dalsim continues. Tomorrow, we swing back to the chill day, so it's RoboCop Rogue City on the first stream, and from everything that people are telling me, we are very close to the end of this game. So we'll see, but that should be a fun stream tomorrow, and then tomorrow night, we'll be at Like a Dragon Gaiden, and we're finally focusing in on story tomorrow night. After many, many streams of side content, it is story-focused, okay? Then on Wednesday, more Baldur's Gate 3, and that'll be paired with Modern Warfare 3, and I'm going to leave it in your hands to choose. Would you like to see me do Warzone or more multiplayer? I'm down for either. I'll maybe do a poll and you guys will pick, okay? I'm off from streaming on Thursday. When I return on Friday, it's more Baldur's Gate 3 and Street Fighter 6 Friday Night Fights. Saturday is my big Christmas annual marathon. I'm very excited for Saturday. Just listen to all the stuff we're doing on Saturday. Number 1, a quick podcast. Number 2, gaming schedule update. All right? During that, we're going to pick out the games that I'm going to be playing over the next 3 to 4 months, so we have an idea of the schedule for the next few months and where everything else fits in. We'll see where Baldur's Gate can fit in and stuff like that. Number 3, a tier maker ranking holiday specials and Christmas movies. Number 4, food, where I'm going to be ordering out a meal and we're going to have a holiday festive feasting with Phil episode. Number 5, games. You guys are currently voting, or I should say nominating games for my Christmas event. Members, it's your last chance. I would say probably today and maybe tomorrow, your last chance to nominate games. Please nominate them in the members only thread that's on the members tab of the DSPGaming main channel page. And I'm going to tally up those nominations, and whatever's the most nominated game is going to be played during the Christmas event. That'll be the members' choice. As for everyone else, I hope you have been nominating games in the open thread, which by typing !Christmas into the chat. That's going to be open for about another day or two, and then I'm going to make the poll, and you guys are going to vote probably like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and whatever game wins the poll will be the other game I play on Saturday. All right, so 2 games, 1 members, 1 common selection, food, schedule, tier maker, podcast. I'll be wearing festive attire all day and changing outfits. I'll be drinking all day, including eggnog and other things that I'm going to get at the liquor store this week. And at the very end of the show, the finale will be me tasting a traditional holiday treat that I got from a store, something the likes of which I've never had before. So it's going to be a crazy jam-packed holiday festive event all day Saturday. If you can make it in any capacity, if you can make it for 5 minutes, if you can make it for 5 hours, if you can show up at the beginning of the show, if you can show up at the end of the show, if you can show up in the middle of the marathon, if you could just hang out for a little bit, whatever, come by. Join the festive vibes. It's going to be a good time all day long, really. I absolutely love doing my Christmas marathon every year. I'm very curious to see what games you guys are going to pick, because I have not looked at those threads at all. I've been seeing the nominations come in and approving them, but I haven't tallied anything up. So I actually have no clue what you guys have been nominating outside of Baldur's Gate 3, but we've already started that. So obviously, Baldur's Gate 3, it's not a concern. That's going to continue to be played, okay? All right, then Sunday, it's Christmas Eve, and I'm only doing 1 session. It's going to be the podcast, and then over on DSP React, it's a holiday react show where it's going to be mostly holiday themed clips that my members are submitting right now. I'm excited for that. That's the only stream of the day, because that night my wife and I are going to spend together. We're going to order some Chinese food, and we're going to sit at home and watch some holiday stuff. And then on Monday, it's Christmas. I'm off. My 1 day a year, I don't have to stream. I don't have to upload. I don't have to go grocery shopping. I don't have to run errands. I don't have to do appointments. I don't have to do anything but stay home with my family. My wife and I are going to be cooking multiple meals together, spending a lot of time together. We cannot wait. It's our favorite day of the year. And then I'm back on that Tuesday and Wednesday. Both days will be Baldur's Gate 3 as streams, and the night streams will vary. Like, one stream will likely be like Modern Warfare, and one stream maybe could be like a dragon, or maybe if we're near the very end of RoboCop, maybe we'll just finish RoboCop. Okay? So it depends on how things go this week, but that's the plan. And then after that, now we're heading into for end of December, first week of January, where we'll continue with Baldur's Gate. If RoboCop finishes, we'll have to decide what we want to do as the next daytime stream. And there's many options. I'm thinking in my head, man, we could go back to Elden Ring. Man, we could maybe do Sea of Stars, right? Which actually won Indie Game of the Year at the Game Awards. There's a lot of options. There's a ton of things that can be done, but we'll talk about that when we get to it in like 2 weeks, okay? All right, that's the schedule for now. All right, now one other thing I want to remind you all of. My year-end series are coming up, okay? And those year-end series are very important because it's basically a summary of everything I've done all year. It's my Game of the Year awards. It's my disappointing Games of the Year countdown. But also this year we're doing something special. The Viewer's Choice Best of 2023 countdown. You, the viewers, are picking your favorite playthroughs of all year long. And you can nominate them right now by typing !Best of 2023 in the chat. Please do so, especially if one of the playthroughs you like more is something that just started. Maybe RoboCop, maybe Baldur's Gate 3, maybe one of these recent playthroughs are one of the ones you think is the best one. Please nominate. The more nominations, the better. And what I'm going to do is the end of the month, tally up those nominations, and the most nominated games will hit a poll. You guys will vote, and then we're going to have a countdown of the most viewers' choice best playthroughs of the year, along with my other year-end series. Okay? So, let's do it, shall we? Thank you very much. Okay, that's that. Now, before we get into other topics, which we will, I just want to call attention to the leaderboard and let you guys know what's going on. Thank you also very much for all the support recently, okay? Because of you, we got a big boost in support recently, which is great, especially this time of year. It's needed. Like, for example, this week, I'm going to the liquor store to buy liquor for the holiday event. I'm going to be ordering food multiple days this week. This helps out right now, so thank you for that, all right? Today, it's a full day of gameplay streaming here on DSP Gaming. Here are my goals. Goal number 1, get back to 650 members for like the 10th time. And what I mean by that is, for like 3 times this week, we've hit 650 and exceeded 650 members, and then it goes overnight, and a bunch of members expire, we come back the next day, and we're under again. So this has happened again, okay? If we can hit 650 again today, that would be great. I mean, the goal is to maintain 650, but right now it's been really tough, okay? So, please consider becoming a member or maybe gifting some memberships to your fellow viewer. There are tons of people out there who I'm sure would appreciate a gifted membership right now. So please consider it. As they say, 'tis the season of giving. And, you know, to have some membership, especially for the Christmas Marathon this Saturday, where you know a lot of people are going to be here, it will be pretty special. So please consider that, all right? So if I can hit 650 members by the end of today, that would be great, okay? And then, every stream I do, my goal is to try to hit 50 bucks in tips, all right? We've done it on some streams, and we haven't done it on some streams recently. It would be great if today we could do it on both streams. Or if we have one really great stream that exceeds it, then it's not so big of a deal that we don't hit it on the other stream, okay? So, please, especially today, Baldur's Gate 3, if you're loving the playthrough, if you could support it with tips today, that would help. Again, that's liquidity. That's funds I can use right away for stuff. And quite frankly, this week, I've got to hit the garbage dump, because I haven't gone in like over a month, and I've got garbage backed up I got to get rid of. We've got a holiday shopping trip where I have to get all the odds and ends for our Christmas meal. Liquor at the liquor store, right? So I've got a bunch of stuff that's kind of extra this week. And that would help a ton if you could. So please consider it. Thank you in advance. And that's that. I'm not going to sit here and talk about it all stream. Fair enough? All right. So ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Time for what? It's time for my favorite segment. It's time for your favorite segment. It's time for everyone's favorite segment. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for another edition of DSP News here on the Level 1 Podcast. Today, I have two stories to talk about. This one is not a story. This is Jasper. He's coming to the office, so I'm giving him some pets. And now he's rubbing his face on my foot, which is disgusting, because my foot is gross. Don't do that. That's a disgusting, stinky foot, man. Here he comes. Very nice with the full screen, too. How nice. Okay, so we have two different stories to talk about today. Two? Or do I have three? Give me a second here to check my phone. If Jasper will allow me to check my phone. He's wrestling me. He's definitely wrestling me here. Let's see here. Oh, I think I do have three stories. Story number one. Listen to this one. There is a new Sony patent in the works. They are attempting to patent new technology. Are you ready for this? This patent, if it goes through, would automatically adjust in-game difficulty of video games in the real time based on the player's skill level. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? But is it not true that there's been games that have done this before? I swear you guys have told me over the years that there's been a few different games that I've played that actually have some level of adjustment of difficulty on the fly, right? But I don't know if that's true or if that's just exaggeration. I don't know to what extent it really works, okay? I guess you would call it, yeah, someone just said you would call it adaptive difficulty, right? Well, Sony wants to patent this idea, but I'm not necessarily sure that it's a new idea. Oh, he's purring. I'm not exactly sure that it's a new idea. I swear that I've heard it in other games before, right? The purring kitty. Say hello, Jasper. The light's too bright for his eyes. So, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has a difficulty adjustment. Street Fighter 6 Arcade does. Adaptive Storyteller, I think they called it in Left 4 Dead. So the other games have done this idea before, but they want to patent it, right? They want to make it their own, right? I don't know about that. I mean, I like the idea, maybe. But then again, okay, here's another thing to consider, okay? In a video game, or in anything in life, right? The reason that you strive to learn something, or to adapt, or to get better at something, is so that it's easier for you to handle in the long run. For example, I want you to think about this. Let's say you want to learn how to play basketball, okay? So you start practicing basketball. And you get good at dribbling, handling the ball, passing. Then you get good at shooting, layups. Oh, you can even dunk. You can jump high. You get all used to that, right? So you join your local team. You get good. So then you get into one of the indie leagues. You get good. All of a sudden, you get signed by the NBA. Oh, my God. Not right? Now you're in the NBA. So you get to the NBA, and you're a good player. You're a good scorer. So what happens is the NBA decides, so from now on, the hoop's going to move. Wait, what? Yeah, from now, we're going to adapt the difficulty. You've already gone to the top level. You're one of the best. So from now on in NBA games, the hoop's now going to move back and forth across the court. Oh, by the way, the court's now going to be sticky. So as you're trying to dribble, the ball's getting stuck. And you got to figure out how to adapt to that. So you got to rip the ball off the floor and roll and then try to make a shot at a moving hoop. Right? That's adaptive difficulty. You've gotten so good at the base game that now they make it harder for you. Right? Does that make sense? When I put it in that perspective, it makes absolutely no sense, right? Like, why would you ever want to do that? The whole point of a competition is to get good at a set of established rules so that you can excel at them and become one of the best in a competitive setting. That's how you judge skill. If you're constantly adapting difficulty to the level that you're playing, there's never a level where you're good because the game will always just become harder, right? So, for me, I look at this situation and I'm like, well, let's say you're not good. Let's say you kind of stink, right? Adaptive difficulty can be a way for people who aren't that good to actually enjoy a video game that normally they wouldn't be able to complete. And maybe in some cases that makes sense, right? But in the case of a difficult video game, right, like Dark Souls, imagine you're playing Elden Ring 2, and the game has adaptive difficulty, and it just decides to get harder right in the middle of the game, in the middle of a boss fight. Oh, it's kicking this boss's ass quickly. Double the boss's XP. Double the fucking, damage output that it does, and make it so that, half your attacks pass through it. Huh? Now, how am I supposed to learn and get good at this game if you keep changing the rule? If you keep moving the goalpost away from me, how will I ever get good at it? So I see adaptive difficulty as a double-edged sword. In some cases, it will help the players who just aren't that good because the game will be easier. But do you want the game to endlessly become harder? That doesn't seem to make sense to me. You want to have a set of established rules and challenges to master and overcome, and that's how you gauge skill and accomplishment. Or else you would never have a feeling of accomplishment ever. Because no matter what, the game would just keep adapting to make it more of a pain in your ass. Right? So, and by the other thing, too, by this criteria, Sony owning it when genuinely it's not their idea. It's happened in other video games before. It's not like they came up with this. So, this is similar to, in 2016... the Fine brothers, two guys who were rich and owned a bunch of YouTube channels, mostly, React-based, wanted to actually trademark the idea of reacting. They actually wanted to trademark that so that no one else could react on YouTube. We own it, And everyone was like, what? Well, you didn't create reacting. I mean, yes, you've basically refined it and you turned it into a business model, but you didn't create reacting. What gives you the right, just because you're rich and you can file for the patent or for the trademark for it, think that you own it? You literally didn't create it. You're just the rich people who want to buy it, basically. And all of YouTube revolted against them. And literally within a week of them doing this, everyone hated them. They went from being one of the most beloved business models on YouTube to one of the most hated. And for what I'm to understand, what someone had told me recently, they ended up eventually having to sell their channels off because no one wanted anything to do with them. So they had to sell their business off and everything and get out of YouTube business, which really sucks because it just shows that literally one bad decision can turn almost a mob mentality against you and then you're fucked, right? So, do I think that Sony trying to patent adaptive difficulty will make everyone turn against them? Yes, within 1 year, everyone will disown Sony. Everyone's actually going to burn their PS5s. And no one's ever going to play a Sony game ever again. Obviously, you can mark my words today, December 18, 2023. In 1 year's time, Sony will not exist in the gaming landscape. Now, obviously, I'm being facetious saying that. That's not true. But idiots will actually mark this, and in a year, they'll say, ha, see, Phil was wrong. Because people are that stupid. Anyway, no. Sony is bulletproof. This is not going to hurt them, okay? But I'm curious what's going to happen with this, right? I am. I'm very curious. We'll see. And of course, the idea is if they patent it and own it, what games are they going to use it in, and how will they refine it? I haven't really seen this model really used that frequently. Like you said, you've seen it over the years, maybe in a game here or there, but I haven't necessarily really seen it happen that often. So maybe it just doesn't really work that well, or maybe it's just not that popular or not that well received by gamers. So when will it be implemented by Sony? What type of games, right? Would it work? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see, but it's an interesting story to follow, okay? Story number 2 for today. Chris Avellone, all right, who works at Obsidian Entertainment. If you're not aware, Obsidian Entertainment is that company that used to be a part of Bethesda. This is the company that has made many games over the years, but notably the one that most people remember to this day is Fallout New Vegas. Of course, recently they made other games such as the Outer Worlds. Right, the Outer Worlds. And now they're working on, was it Disavowed or Avowed? What's the name of the game? Avowed? The fantasy RPG that kind of looks like their version of Skyrim, right? So he's been interviewed, and he admitted in this interview that Obsidian made multiple proposals. They wanted to develop spin-off games not only for Fallout, in addition to what they did with New Vegas, but also to the Elder Scrolls. They wanted to essentially make Fallout New Vegas in the Elder Scrolls universe. But Bethesda just turned all of that down. And actually this morning, Chris Avellone followed up on this and says, it's true. One of the Elder Scrolls proposals which I pitched was intended to serve the same function as how Fallout New Vegas did between Fallout 3 and 4 to provide more adventures in the setting during the years before the next Bethesda release. Can you imagine if we had a filler Elder Scrolls game between Skyrim and whenever the fuck Elder Scrolls, 6, 7 comes out? Wait, which is which? Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, 4 Oblivion, 5 Skyrim, 6 Padonkadonky, or whatever the fuck it's going to be called. I don't know why Padonkadonky came into my mind, but, we don't know what it's going to be called yet because it's probably like 17 years out before it comes out. So, yeah, I would have loved that. Listen, there's distinct differences, okay, between Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout 4. There are. There's even stylized changes. You can tell when you're playing Fallout New Vegas, it feels kind of different than Fallout 3. In some cases, that's a good thing, and in some cases, it's not. In some cases, like some things, like the melee build is viable in New Vegas, and it wasn't really in Fallout 3. In Fallout 3, it was a joke. It wasn't really playable. But admittedly, in New Vegas, has a lot of glitches, has a lot of issues. To this day, I think I still remember people fusing into the ceiling and shit like that in my original playthrough. And then it was funny because I went back and I played it again years later, and the guy's head was still stuck in the ceiling. I'm like, dude, it's like so many years later. Like 10 years later. He's still in the ceiling. They still haven't fixed that. But at the same time, New Vegas has its own charm. And a lot of people argue between if they think Fallout 3 or New Vegas actually is the definitive Fallout experience of that generation, right? Fallout 4 is a whole different animal where they changed a lot, and a lot of people argue it was worse rather than better, but the graphics undoubtedly were better. So, it's a hotbed of contention. But imagine if we had an Elder Scrolls Obsidian game. I would have loved that. I'm being honest. I think I would have loved it. If anything, from what we're seeing from the Obsidian version of Skyrim, which is going to be called, what is it, Avowed or Disavowed? I can't remember what the name of it's called. But it looks good to me. Like, everything I'm seeing, I'm loving. I'm like, wow, this game looks like it's going to be super fun. I seriously can't even wait to get my hands on it. I hope that it comes out this year, coming up, right? So, yeah, this is bullshit. Why did Bethesda, after the well-received Fallout New Vegas, it wasn't like Fallout New Vegas came out and people were like, oh, that was a hack job and what a horrible attempt, and it just felt like Fallout 3 light, and it really, you could tell, like for example, the Arkham trilogy and Arkham Origins. Oh, Arkham Origins absolutely feels like a whole different game. It feels like another team made it, asset reuse, full of bugs, not as engaging combat, the story's not that good, like it's just not as good as the real trilogy. So it's okay as a game, but it's nowhere near as good as the Rocksteady originals, right? I would argue that New Vegas is as good as Fallout 3, and the only reason that people pick between them is personal preference, you know? So why not have them make an Elder Scrolls game? It doesn't make any sense. Do you not like money? No, instead we're going to remake fucking Skyrim 400 times, right? We're really going to put... What I feel it is that the management just went off the deep end. Like Todd Howard, I'm sorry, he fucked his company up. He put too much money into these online experiences. He really banked that Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76 were the future. That people didn't want standalone single-player games anymore, but wanted these online experiences. Now, to some extent, that's true, but what percentile of players who bought Skyrim actually play Elder Scrolls Online? I would love to see those statistics. Same thing with Fallout 76. From all the people who bought Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout 4, actually went and are regular players of Fallout 76. So I think that he just he lost his way. He led this studio astray from what they were good at, and they just spent the last decade wasting time on online experiences that ultimately don't mean anything. What we want is another mainstay Elder Scrolls. We want another awesome mainstay Fallout that's in the spirit of the games we've already played and isn't about base management for 50% of the fucking time. But instead, this guy's busy out there making a diddly-do game called Starfield that literally is the most cookie-cutter, paint-by-numbers, boring, blasé, photocopied experience of any game they've ever put out. It's literally the worst one. Like, Starfield is worse than Fallout 3, worse than Fallout New Vegas, worse than Fallout 4, worse than Elder Scrolls Morrowind, worse than Elder Scrolls Oblivion, worse than Skyrim. It just is. It's worse than every other one of those single-player experiences of the last 20 years, but they don't want to admit that. It definitely is. It's boring as fucking dirt. It's got the worst fucking plot. They fucked it up. And they've been working on that game forever, right? So they absolutely lost their way. So here's what you do. Swallow your goddamn pride, because nobody gives a fuck about it, and let Obsidian make an Elder Scrolls game. Because I guarantee you if they let them, they'd finish it within 4 years, and it would be an amazing fucking game. Let them do it. Stop being little pussies about it. It's too bad, boo-hoo, you lost your way, you can't make good games anymore. Let someone else do it then with the IP. Don't let the IP sit there and wither and have cobwebs on it because you suck now. It's fine. Sometimes you gotta admit when you get too old, or you know what I mean? What can you do? I mean, take a look at fucking George Lucas. Look what happened to that fucking guy, right? I mean, he was making banger after banger after banger in the 80s and 90s, and all of a sudden he ruins Star Wars. He can't make a movie to save his fucking life. He sells off everything. It happens. It's okay. It's totally all right. We get it. We can still respect you guys for what you've done in the past. Let other people make good games. Don't let them just fucking sit there. You know? I don't know. That's my take on it. This is very disappointing to me because I would have absolutely loved Elder Scrolls made by Obsidian. Now, Obsidian's making their own game that's not Elder Scrolls, but literally should have been. So what's going to happen when this game, again, I keep forgetting if it's avowed or disavowed. What's going to happen when this game comes out and it's better than anything Bethesda has put out in the last 15 years? Right? Oops. All right. Let's continue. Is it avowed? It's not disavowed. It's avowed. Okay. I think I'm being told it's avowed. Cool. Our last story for today, sadly, is not a good one. It's a pretty sad one. The epic, idyllic voice of Max Payne and recently Alex Casey in Alan Wake 2, voice actor James McCaffrey, James McCaffrey has passed away at the age of 65 after a cancer battle. And this is sad because, number one, a lot of people grew up playing the Max Payne games and know the entire trilogy. Now, yes, Max Payne's been on the shelf for a very long time, but now this guy literally just saw a reinvigoration of his career playing Alex Casey in Alan Wake 2, which is one of the best games of the year. And if you're not aware, they are remaking Max Payne 1 and 2 into one game that they're going to re-release in a few years that's going to play like a totally new experience. And of course, everyone was hoping that he was going to be the voice actor of Max Payne again. So, horrible news. Gone way too soon. Rest in peace to voice actor James McCaffrey. Cancer fucking sucks, and, you know, the older I get, it's weird. When I was young, I didn't even think about it, right? When you're young, you're oblivious to everything. You're just an ignorant dumbass, right? I totally was. I was an ignorant dumbass. People would die, and I'd be like, yeah, they're just old. You know, now you want to know why people die because you're starting to get older. And it's like cancer, 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 car accident, cancer, 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 accidental drug overdose, cancer, cancer, cancer. And like, oh my God, cancer is crazy. It fucking kills everybody, you know? And you don't think about that when you're young. You don't hear about it either. Like, it only when you start to pay attention when you get older that you start, oh, fuck, it's coming for us, man. It's probably, let's be honest, out of everyone on my stream right now, how many hundred people are here? 500 people. How are exactly 500? We're at exactly 500 viewers. I wouldn't be shocked if 3/4 of us get done in by cancer. It's crazy, you know? If we could figure this shit out, how it works, I mean, it's nuts. Because it would be one thing if, like, you hit 85 and then cancer does you in. You're like, okay, you lived your full life. But a lot of people get done in by it way too early. In this case, he's 65. He's reaching his stride. He's coming back to prominence, playing the character in Alan Wake 2, and he's about to voice Max Payne again, and now he's gone. It's fucking terrible, man. You know, it really is. It's awful. We got to figure out what's going on with this shit and take care of it and stop it. You know, we all got to go sometime, right? But it would be better if we can go when we're ready. Not when we're right in the middle of something important. And this guy was in the middle of something important. And it's sad to see him go. It really is. So rest in peace to James McCaffrey. Very sad. Okay, that's our news story for today. Our news stories for today, excuse me. That's what I've got. So thank you for watching DSP News. I hope you enjoyed the segment. Now, I guess we will swap over to some shout-outs and the like. All right, for contributions. Again, remember, my goals for today, 650 members by the end of the day by both streams and $50 raised per stream of tips. Okay. Excuse me. Whew. So, start off today with Lucifer Soul with an insanely huge $100 super chat. That's what that giant animation was earlier. And he says, Baldur's Gate 3 hype indeed, Lucifer Soul. Thank you so very much for supporting the Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough. Obviously, you're enjoying it, and I really appreciate that. And yes, that will help so much. So thank you for supporting the channel and the playthrough. King Be Cruel popped 31 months as a member, got his notification up, and he says, we want Final Fantasy 13. We want Final Fantasy 13. We want Final Fantasy 13. Come on. All right. It is official. The next playthrough that I will do, I'm going to replay Final Fantasy 13-3 Lightning Returns right here on DSP Gaming. We're playing the best one of the trilogy. Here we go. And it's 100% because King Be Cruel was so adamant, demanding this on a daily basis. Lightning Returns to DSP Gaming coming in January. Thank you so much, King Be Cruel. Very nice. Yes. 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 Yes, finally! Finally! And I'm totally serious when I say that, too. Alright. If you don't know what he's talking about... Hi, Jasper. Much earlier this year, like in January of this year, I had a problem with my capture device and I couldn't capture for a few days. I had to get another one. And during that time, I went to my closet and I went to the archives. All right, and in my archives, I actually found old hard drives that contained lost media. And some of the lost media that we found are the playthroughs, excuse me, the playthroughs that used to be on my older YouTube channels, which were Red Dead DSP, and that channel held my LA Noire, Red Dead Redemption Suicide Kings, and Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare playthroughs, and also my... Was it DSP Final Fantasy 13, or it was like Final Fantasy 13 DSP? It was a Final Fantasy-centric channel just for the Final Fantasy 13 playthrough when the game came out. Okay, that's literally all the channel was. It was one playthrough. Okay? So, There was that, and that's lost media. The original Final Fantasy 13 playthrough is lost. All right, and you might say, well, why did that happen? Well, allow me to explain how YouTube used to work and a lot of the issues that used to exist. Back in the day, over 10 years ago, we're talking, 2010-ish, 2009, 2010, 2011. YouTube was a very different place. It was not widespread accepted to do Let's Plays on YouTube. Some companies had issue with them. Rockstar was one of them. That if you played a Rockstar game or a DLC for a Rockstar game at launch, they would copyright strike you down. They would not want you to play that on YouTube for like months until they would allow it, and then they wouldn't strike you down anymore. It was pretty stupid the way that they went about themselves. So at one point, I wanted to play Rockstar games, and at one point, I wanted to play Final Fantasy, and I had heard that there was probably going to be issues. So I said, well, I don't want my main YouTube channel to get shut down simply because I want to play these games. Now you might say, well, I don't get it. You made separate channels for those games, then how did you make money playing them? I didn't. Back in the day, I didn't make any money playing video games on YouTube. This was not my job. I did this for almost 3 years as a hobby. That's what everyone seems to forget when every moron out there says negative stuff about me, and they always say, oh, he only does it for money. They forget I did it for 3 years as a hobby before I ever made a single penny making content for YouTube. These channels were not monetized. They were just standalone channels, not partnered, only there to put out free playthroughs for public consumption. That was it. So those playthroughs were awesome. Some of my favorites of all time. This was before the era of monetization. It was before the era that you would get your video blocked because you used copywritten music. So I remember making the Suicide King series with Red Dead Redemption, where we went online and we played Red Dead Online. It was me and John Rambo and a bunch of our friends and other people watching my videos, and we all co-opted it together and did these crazy giant ways to ride stagecoaches off of cliffs and blow things up, all to music montage. My Sharona was playing and all kinds of stuff like that. It was super duper fun, right? But that was a different era of YouTube. Today, you wouldn't even be able to do that. You try to do that, the whole thing would be fucking blocked. You wouldn't even be able to make that kind of content anymore. It's sad. So, there's a whole generation there of lost media, okay? And so people have been clamoring for it. You might say, well, why is it lost? I don't get it. Didn't you make these other channels? Where did they go? Well, what happened was, over the years, YouTube changed. And when they changed, they started integrating a lot of dumb things. One of the things that they did is they integrated Google+, which doesn't exist anymore. But Google+ was Google's attempt to copy Facebook. They wanted their own social network. And they made it so that whoever owned a YouTube channel automatically had a Google+ account. But when they did that, they changed their terms of service. And they changed all kinds of information with login credentials and the like, forcing you to reset them. So here's the thing. Those channels, Red Dead DSP, DSP Final Fantasy 13, or whatever they were called, right, were only for certain playthroughs. I didn't touch them in years. I mean, it was like 5 years. Why would I touch those channels, right? They're just there to have non-monetized playthroughs that people can watch and comment on forever. I'm not going to mess with them. Just let them sit there. Someone found a way, a back door into YouTube channels that had not been touched and had their credentials changed when the Google Plus integration happened. So because of this, someone found a way into those accounts without my permission or knowledge. I had no idea they were in there. I didn't get any notification or anything. So they went into the accounts, they changed all the information, and they turned those accounts into illegal broadcasting sites for soccer or football. And they proceeded to try to broadcast soccer and football on them and make money. They tried to actually monetize the content, and YouTube got wind of this and completely closed the channels down. Now, I tried to gain access back to the channels. And what happens is YouTube just asks you for basic information. What date was the channel created? Do you remember what the last password was for that channel? Now, imagine 5 years later, after those channels being created and not even being touched or used, I'm trying to remember that shit. Do you think I documented the exact date I opened the channels? Do you think that I remember the initial passwords? You know what I mean? I don't have any of that. In fact, I probably had made special email accounts and shit just to open those channels with. So who knows, right? So basically, I tried to get control back and I couldn't. So now YouTube has closed those channels permanently, and those playthroughs have been completely deleted off of YouTube and can't come back. All right? But I have the raw file. So what King Be Cool is saying is, bring back Final Fantasy 13, re-upload it somewhere. So way earlier this year, we talked about this. We found the lost media. And we're like, what should I do with it? And the discussion was, upload it, but I don't want to upload it here to DSPGaming because these are older style, different quality, much shorter videos. For example, the Final Fantasy 13 playthrough alone is like over 200 videos. And each video is about 10 to 15 minutes long. All right? Imagine me flooding this channel with over 200 videos within like a few weeks' time. People will go crazy. They'll be like, what are you, out of your fucking mind? You're destroying the channel. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to watch this shit, right? People would unsubscribe in mass numbers. And listen, I've been working on building this channel up for years. Ever since I quit Twitch, 2.5 years now. Take a look. My subs are up. I'm trying to get consistent viewership. I can't kill the channel for the sake of uploading lost media. Okay? So, there's been various different discussions about how to go about this. One was, listen to this, to manually edit the videos together into longer segments. Do you have any concept how long that would take? I'm not kidding you. Each video of 10 to 15 minutes is longer or bigger in size than one of my hour-long videos that I record now. Why? Because they were filmed with a digital camera. This is uncompressed video. This is not an edited video run through codecs. This is really bloated video. It would take you upwards of an hour or more to edit together these pieces, each one. So imagine me trying to edit 200-300 videos together into hour-long segments. It would take weeks of just editing. Do you understand? Just the editing would take weeks, let alone me doing my other work. Okay? So, basically, what people were thinking, all right, was, could I maybe do something different on another channel? And one of the ideas I had would be to rebrand one of my channels that's now defunct. I literally have a channel right now that used to be popular for about a year, and it went defunct, and I did use it as a backup channel at one point when I had issues with this channel years ago, but I haven't used it since. It's called KO Gaming. So that channel, ideally, I could rebrand it, restructure it, and create it into, or turn it into like an archives channel where the classics, the lost media could be stored and uploaded, and only people interested in that lost media could go over there and subscribe to that channel and watch it. And the other thing about that is that channel is already set up to be monetized. It's already ready to go. So anything I upload to that channel, I could put ads on or whatever, and I don't have to worry, as opposed to if I made a whole new channel, now you got to start with the case of getting subscribers and viewers and qualifying for the monetization and all that shit. That other channel already is, you know, is running. So I could potentially do that. But even then, that's a lot of work. It would have to be me setting up the channel. First of all, getting those hard drives working with my computer, which they do. But essentially, getting the uploads over there, finding the time to do that, because it's extra time, you know, setting that up. And it would have to be a project that we all agree on, that's something you guys want. And basically, it just never happened. Like, we talked about it earlier this year. And I said, all right, maybe in 2023, we'll find some time when there's not that much going on with crazy amount of projects and special events and stuff. And what happened was this year, I launched DSP Reacts. And any time that I would have taken to do anything extra essentially went to DSP React. Remember, we were doing special events, organizing the React show every week, all that. That's where all my effort went. So, basically didn't have really the time to work on it, nor was there ever really a cry for it. Every once in a while, every month or two, one person like King Be Cruel speaks up and says, hey, where's Final Fantasy 13? We've been waiting all year, right? And that's about it. And there's no giant clamoring. I would be shocked if I uploaded Red Dead Redemption, Undead Nightmare, Suicide Kings, and Final Fantasy 13. I would be shocked if each video got 100 views. I mean that too. I'd be shockingly surprised if they got 100 views each, you know? Now think of the effort. Uploading all those videos to get, what, a few thousand views on a channel? You know? And maybe over time, people would want to go back and watch them again. But the way I see it is I think my current audience would be much more interested in watching me replay the game. Like replay Final Fantasy 13 itself. Rather than, and with new HD graphics, direct capture, audio commentary, versus the old style camera shit that looks like shit, right? You know? So, I don't know. So I've been torn on it, and I haven't really come to any determination. And again, nor has there been any clamoring or real demand. So if there was a group consensus, hey, in 2024, make a big effort, a big push, please upload that content, then I would consider doing it. But that hasn't really happened, you know. So let's see. You know, as for as loud as King Be Cruel is screaming, I haven't really heard that much of a demand. And now King Be Cruel says, well, isn't it worth it if a fan wants it? King Be Cruel, my fans want a million things. My fans want me to play every possible game under the sun. They've been screaming for every game forever. I can't do what everyone wants. I can't please all the people all of the time. You understand that? I have to try to listen in general to what everyone is saying and try to do the things that the most people want. And every once in a while I can make an exception, but I got to try to appease those masses. I have to. It's tough. It's tough when you're one person and you're trying to please potentially thousands of people on the internet and they all want something different, right? Okay. Please allow me to blow my nose and then we're going to continue with shout-outs. Phew. Excuse me. Okay. I seriously got up, sat down, and people are saying we want Paper Mario 64. All I literally did was got up, blew my nose, sat down, and people are asking for something different already. Do you see my point? Okay. Let's continue. Little Shake and Bake did a super chat. Thank you so much, Little Shake and Bake, for that. Good to have you here today. And Ethan That Dude did a super chat and says, hey, I hope that you're having a good day today. Thank you, Ethan That Dude. Indeed, I am. And I'm ready for more Baldur's Gate. So I hope that you all are too. Because again, the playthrough works when we all interact and hang out with each other. Rather than me just playing it for myself, right? Okay, continuing on. Let's scoot over to the tip side of things. First tip of the day is a $3 tip that actually came in overnight from Snoutfoot. They say, Merry Christmas to you, Cat, Jasper, and any future members of your family. Well, thank you. I don't know what future members of the family would be besides maybe some more pets, but right now we don't have any plans to get any more pets, but thank you so very much, Snoutfoot. Happy holidays to you as well. I hope that you and yours are having a good one. I received a $2.76 tip from an anonymous tipper saying, did you fix the short in your fight stick? No, I did not. Because I don't know if there is a malfunction with my fight stick or not. If there is a malfunction, because I was thinking about this. If there's a malfunction with my fight stick, it's got to be medium punch. That's what it's got to be. Because if I'm doing kicks with medium kick and it's giving me parry, it means that something also is depressing medium punch, which is wrong because I'm not pushing it. But also, I'm having directional issues, where sometimes I'm holding back and pressing medium kick, but it's giving me standing medium, so it's dropping my joystick input, despite the fact I'm not releasing it. So it's either the game or it's the joystick. So it could be multiple issues. It's a big problem. Getting parries when you don't want them can kill you in this game, and has killed me. So, there's not much I can really do about it besides keep playing. What I can really do is if it continues and it gets bad, I can try swapping the buttons. If you remember, I had just bought brand new buttons for my Xbox joystick just before I swapped consoles and swapped from Xbox to PS5. Those buttons are new. So I could potentially swap those buttons over to here, and if it's a problem with the button, it'll be fixed. The problem is, it might not be the button. It could be the wiring. That's another problem. This is the thing with these joysticks. It could be a million things. It could be the button. It could be a switch in the button. It could be the wiring. It could be a short, in the board, the motherboard inside of the joystick. It could be the wire coming from that board to your console. It could be the console. It could be the game. Who knows, right? Okay, continuing on. I received a $5 tip, so our first animation of the day, from Otto Pico. Well, Otto Pico says, I really enjoy when you figure stuff out and have fun with this game. I love D&T type games, so we're all winning. Well, there you go. Otto Pico, thank you for a $5 tip, our first animation tip of the day, and I appreciate that. I'm doing my best to try to figure stuff out, you know. I'm not versed on this game universe at all. I certainly don't understand any of the lore, right? And then on top of that, I'm also learning a game engine on top of not understanding the lore. So it's like, it's learning everything from scratch. But you guys have been a tremendous help. Admittedly, you have been a tremendous help in adapting. And I really appreciate everyone who's been coming out and you know, engaging and supporting these streams. So thank you very much for that. Let's see here. Excuse me. Ooh, a big disgusting belch. I'm sorry about that. I received a $20 tip. So, 1 Minute Man has tipped $20, and he has some guidance and suggestions for us for Baldur's Gate 3. So let's play the animation. Let's get the leaderboard updated. Let's see what 1 Minute Man has to say. By the way, so we're up to $30 in tips. So my goal is 50. We've already got the 30. It's a good start. If we can hit that sooner rather than later, that'd be great. It would be awesome to get maybe like a festive hat or something today for the stream if we hit the tier 2 goal. And that would help a lot right now for this week as well. So, okay. He says, pay attention to the guidance cantrip for roll bonus. So that's the one that we're getting from Shadowheart. Also, if you free Saza, it benefits you in the Goblin camp. Oh, the prisoner. Saza. Yeah, but I'm sorry. You know, in this game, it seems like you have to pick sides, right? In general, no. I don't want everyone to be pissy with me because I freed a goblin who obviously is an enemy to the people you're staying with. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if maybe she's not your enemy, she's an enemy to the people you're staying with. Can you imagine, you know, letting the prisoner free like that in the middle of their camp and what havoc she could wreak? So, you know, maybe you know better than me. Maybe you've played the game and you know if you free her, she doesn't do anything bad. But I'm role-playing, essentially. I'm trying to make the decision as if this were a real decision. If I were in someone's town and they have someone imprisoned and, you know, I wouldn't just let the prisoner out for my own personal benefit. That's just me, okay? So, there you go. But thank you. And so when you're saying pay attention to the guidance roll cantrip, you're talking about when I roll the dice and you get the bonus from Shadowheart, correct? That's the guidance. See, here's the weird thing. The thing that makes me so confused about that is the following. Every time I've done it, it only gives me bonus of 1. But people swear that it's a roll of 1 to 4. So if it's a roll of 1 to 4, why is it always only giving me 1? That I don't understand. They're like, oh, it's a chance of 1 to 4. And I'm like, I don't get it. I'm so confused. I'm scratching my head like, why is the die always giving me the 1, 1, 1, 1 every time? Unless really it's not a 1 to 4 roll. It's supposed to just say 1. I don't know. I don't get it. How bad can your luck be that you literally have a 4-sided die and every time you roll it, it gives you the same number? I don't understand that. It's always the lowest number, by the way. Right? No, I didn't miss it when it rolled 2, 3, or 4. We've always added it up, and it's been 1. I'm telling you, it's always been 1. Every time it's been 1. I swear to God. Unless I'm blind and I'm just not observant, but I swear it's been a 1. Okay. Anyway, so thank you, 1 Minute Man, for the suggestions. I will pay more attention to that roll today to try to figure it out, because it is confusing me. I swear it's always a 1, and I don't understand that. You know? Okay. I have a hair in my mouth. That's disgusting. Did I get it? Shout out to Lucifer Soul, who did a second $100 super chat and says, hope you enjoy this game. Well, thank you, Lucifer Soul. Again, I'm doing my best to try to enjoy it and learn it, and I am liking it so far. Especially with having all of you along for the ride, it definitely makes it a more enjoyable experience. It really does. So thank you guys again. I think at this point we have over 500 viewers and climbing, which is crazy. So thank you guys. Okay, so guys, we got a little bit of open time here. If anyone would like to ask me a question, you tag me in the chat, and we'll do a little bit of Q&A. If any other contributions come in, you know, gifted memberships, tips, I'll shout them out. Thank you so much. Let's see what happens in the next 10-15 minutes before we get started. All right? Jade says, I'm saying hi. I'll see you for Street Fighter. Sounds good. I know, Jade, this game has not been your cup of tea. I'll see you for Street Fighter tonight. Sounds good. Is Baldur's Gate 3 easier than I expected so far? No, not at all. Like I said, you guys may not notice or know this, but when I'm playing this game and I'm trying to do combat and I'm trying to take in all of your feedback and input, it's like information overload. It really is. And even so, even playing it, some people are leaving comments on the videos. Oh my God, he missed so much. He didn't go this way in the town where he would have went to a whole new area of the town. And there was more people and there was a fight and there was a story. And I'm like, oh. Like, it really does feel like my brain overload. And it drives me nuts because I feel like I'm in a situation where no matter how I play it, there's going to be people who are going to be like, oh, he missed this, he missed that, this isn't as good. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. But at the same time, like, it really does make me feel like I don't know. It makes me feel like I'm not doing a good job, which sucks. I want to feel like I'm doing a good job for you guys. That I'm doing the stuff you want to see. I'm playing the combat intelligently and not like a dunce. Which I know I'm not doing well right now. I know I'm not. I know that I'm still learning and I'm not doing as good as I could be. And certainly I don't want to miss critical story It's critical story content and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know where anything is. And it's kind of hard to not be spoiled. You know what I mean? A lot of people have issue with anyone saying a word to me. It's like, they're not stupid. You have to understand, I would not enjoy this game if people weren't interacting with me and helping me out. I would not like it. I'd be so lost. And it's so much to absorb and know, and just half the stuff's not explained. It really isn't, right? So, I'm happy that you guys are here with me for the journey. So, anyway, I still hope that you guys are enjoying it. Oh, my nose. To King Be Cruel, you have to understand that that was a joke. King Be Cruel says he watched my original Metal Gear Solid 1 playthrough. I mean, that was over 10 years ago now, right? And he goes, you were so negative towards Kojima and everything the whole playthrough, it was hard to watch. It was a joke. I'm serious. When I played Metal Gear Solid 2, all right, everyone was begging me to buy that HD collection and play it. So I did. But I had no intention of really caring about it. I didn't really, back then, a lot of the games I played, I just fucked around anyway, and I just flubbed through them. And no one ever had issue with that until I played Metal Gear Solid 2. For some reason, when I played Metal Gear Solid 2, and I acted exactly the same way that I acted in every other playthrough, people got all upset about it. I guess because they really liked Hideo Kojima so much that they took personal offense that I would lampoon him the same way that I kind of roasted and lampooned every other game that I had played, right? So when I went into playing Metal Gear Solid 1, it was literally intentional that I was going to go absolutely over the top with my reactions. But I explained that as such. What you'll notice is that when you watch hater videos and the nonsense that they've said about me over the years, you notice that they don't mention that. I outright said in all my content and everything, well, I'm going to play this game and razz the hell out of it because you guys gave me crap about Metal Gear Solid 2. Now watch this. I'm going to double down on Metal Gear Solid 1. I literally hammed it up on purpose. But no one wants to say it. Again, they just want to act like, oh, that didn't happen. It's called rewriting history for personal benefit. If you want to hate on someone, then just ignore the facts and only regurgitate your narrative that's not true, but you ignored the facts that disprove it, so then act like what you say is real, and then have a bunch of circle-jerking drama queen idiots confirm what you're saying even though there's no facts to back it up, and now everyone believes it's just true. So the narrative over the years has become, oh, Phil absolutely hates Hideo Kojima and all of his games and disrespects him at every moment. Here's the evidence. A clip from his original Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 playthroughs from 12 years ago. And it's like, what? Well, did you watch me play Metal Gear Solid 5, where I literally applauded the guy, loved the game, played it well, and actually was sad that the game felt completely unfinished and it wasn't his fault? Did you watch me play Death Stranding, where I complimented it as one of the best game stories I've ever seen in my life, and I was so happy to have played the game despite the fact I didn't like the gameplay? I loved the game. But they'll never say that. Instead, it's, oh, Phil really shat on Kojima 13 years ago. That's the narrative. Little Shake and Bake, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not seeing any tip coming in from you. Has anyone else tipped and saying that it's not coming through? Maybe what happened is that PayPal's delayed today. I don't know. But there is no message whatsoever from PayPal for any tips right now. Expand Dong says, I rescind my vote for you to play Sea of Stars. The devs have kneeled to a woke progressive mob and removed the completionist cameo from the game in the latest patch. I have absolutely no idea what any of that means. I don't know anything about a woke progressive mob being involved with the game. I don't know who the completionist is. I didn't know he had a cameo. I don't know anything what you're talking about. If I play the game, I'll play it and enjoy the game for what it is. I don't give two fucks about this drama that you just brought. I don't know what that means. Right? Huh? King B. Cruel says, I don't subscribe to the mindset that you hate the man, but I do think that your shtick went on too long. I do hope that you'll do a redemption run. Oh, and I've told you guys I've wanted to do a redemption run. Not necessarily a redemption run, but a legit, like, playthrough of it. Back then, when I played Metal Gear Solid 1, if you remember, it was still offline. Was it still offline? It wasn't online, right? It wasn't a live streamed experience with face cam and everything. I've said I wanted to go back and do it. The problem is it's only available on PS3 emulated. Now, they just came out with that collection, correct? That finally allows you to play it on PS5. And people have even said, well, would you play it again? And I said, well, the only game I'd be interested in replaying on there would be Metal Gear Solid 1. 2 and 3, it's the same exact games I've played in the HD collection multiple times, and I've replayed those years later and played them much better than the original runs. But for Metal Gear Solid 1, if you could just buy that game individually, which I think you can, you know, then what I would do is just play that game, and I would give it an honest shake this time instead of being an asshole, right? I wouldn't just razz the game constantly, be a dick to Kojima. I would actually try to enjoy the game for what it's supposed to be, right? Because I'm different now. I'm not going to just play a game to be an asshole and razz it anymore. I used to be like that. I'm not anymore. So I would consider that in the future, okay? So now 2 tip notifications just came through. Let's take a look at them. I'm just an idiot, so I'm going to ignore that idiot. Let's see here. Ugly Tuna Roll tipped me 666. 666. Let's see that animation. We haven't seen that one in ages, actually, have we? There you go. So thank you to Ugly Tuna Roll for a $666... I'm just kidding. A $6.66 tip. That'd be something if it was a $666 tip. He says, I'm super surprised you're playing Modern Warfare 3 as much as you are. I can't believe people are okay to pay $70 for this DLC that's just Modern Warfare 2. The damn trophies are not even a full list for PS5 with no platinum because it's part of Modern Warfare 2 trophies. At least Call of Duty Ghosts was a different game. Cheers, Phil. It's like I've said, this is a unique situation, and the real reason why it's so unique is because it's essentially Modern Warfare 2. You know, the one from 2009, the one that actually put me on the map as a YouTuber who played a variety of games. People love my Modern Warfare 2 coverage. Those videos got ridiculous views back in the day. People came to my channel just to watch me do sessions of it. And that was the one that I was probably the best at, you know, in comparison to all my other FPS gameplay over the years. Remember the I Spawn, I Die, and the kill streaks, you know, can't stop, don't know how to stop. Stuff like that. So for me, playing Modern Warfare 3 2023 is a nostalgic flashback to the days of Modern Warfare 2 in 2009. If it weren't that, if it were different maps and shit, I probably wouldn't like it half as much. I'm just being honest. And now that I've gotten to the point where I've unlocked things like the dual Renettis and things, now it's a lot more fun. But you're right. I'm likely the exception to the rule. And as you know, as I've been playing it, I've criticized it heavily. Those connections are shit. Every time skill-based matchmaking kicks in, the game's a complete joke. You know, it's just not, hit detection's shitty. It's stupid. But it's silly fun. I'm not taking it ultimately seriously and treating it like a crazy competitive game. I treat it as a party game, basically, and I have fun with it that way. Shout out to Lil Shake and Bake, who gifted a membership, and it went to Blastoise91. Congratulations, Blastoise. Thank you, Lil Shake and Bake, for helping us get back to 650 members today. 'Tis the season. Thank you so very much for that support. I received a $4.20 tip from an anonymous tipper. Hey, Phil, how is Baldur's Gate 3 living up so far? Again, living up, I'm not sure what that means. If you mean, what do I think of it? I'm enjoying it. But again, it's a very complex game, and every time I play it, I feel like I have to rack my brain to understand it, because you guys have to, you tell me so much that I need to learn on the fly. Sometimes it gives me a almost headache. You know, it's definitely not a game where I could sit back and relax. It's just not a relaxing game. And that's, for me, I like games that are relaxing in a lot of ways. Or, at least if I'm going to play a challenging game, like let's say I'm going to play Elden Ring. At least I get to the point where I feel at home in it, right? I don't feel at home in Baldur's Gate 3 after 9 hours at all. I feel like there's a million things more to learn. There's a lot more to come that I need to adapt to and adjust and get. And once we get there, maybe a few more streams, maybe I'll start to feel better at home, and then it'll feel like a more relaxing experience. But I'll tell you right now, it's going to feel like I'm at the library studying playing this today. I swear, I know it will be. It's been like that every stream so far. Okay. Okay. So Metal Gear Solid 1 was one of my earlier streams, I'm being told. No face cam. And it wasn't great quality, but basically chat had to help me with certain parts. Like, apparently there was a jewel case number you needed in order to complete the game. And you had to have the PS1 jewel case. And since I played it digitally, I didn't have it. So chat had to tell me what it was. What a mess. What a messy thing. Les, I definitely would want to give it another go this time. And be fair with it, you know? All these years later, where I really have nothing but respect for Kojima at this point, you know, I would much rather play it and enjoy it for what it was supposed to be, rather than just pooping on it, like I did that first time. CCA has become a channel member this morning. Thank you, CCA. That's our second new member of the day. That gets us up to 638 and climbing again. Good progress on our way back up to the 650 that we were at yesterday. So thank you for that, CCA. Cool. I never played the original Deus Ex. No, I did not. I played Human Revolution and Mankind Divided. But I never played... The original was very old. It was like 2000, was it not? Like an early 2000s PC game. So that's why. Back then I was into FPS. I was playing Unreal Tournament and stuff like that. I wasn't playing RPGs. I've never played Missile Command. I know exactly what it is, but I've never played it. I didn't own that one on like Atari or anything. Okay. Last chance. Anyone who wants to ask a question. Am I going to play the God of War DLC? I've already answered this. I'll consider it. You know, once we wrap up, maybe if we finish RoboCop, and if people want to see me do the God of War DLC, I would do it. I heard it's not that long, but it has some cool story elements. So maybe that's something that we could do for a few streams in the meantime. I'd be okay with that. Or we have many other options. We'll tackle that when we get to it in a week or two. Because this week, I might get to the end of RoboCop. Maybe next week we'll like finish it, but it's Christmas week. So probably it won't be till like late December, early January when we even get a chance to see what's next. And I need to see the schedule, the gaming schedule, to figure that out. So let's not jump ahead of ourselves. Any interest in Valheim? Considering I have no idea what that is, I guess I'll say no. You presume I'm skipping Last of Us 2 Remastered? Yeah, why on earth would I play that? I have no desire to ever... First of all, I just have no desire to play Last of Us 2 ever again to begin with. It's one of the most miserable stories I've ever... It's least enjoyable, miserable, torture porn style stories I've ever played in any video game. Like, every moment I played further into the story just made me feel worse because it's a terrible story. I have zero desire to ever play it again. I don't care what new levels they add, what new modes they add. It's still misery. I don't want to. Trust me, there's enough in real life to be miserable about. I don't have to create artificial misery for myself by playing Last of Us 2 again. So I'm totally done with that one. Jack Axis, can we agree 672 is the worst of your members? Listen, I don't play favorites, and I don't play least favorites either. So I'm not going to say this is my favorite viewer and member, and I'm not going to say this is my least favorite viewer and member. I mean, maybe bottom 5, but I'm definitely not going to say least. That's not fair. That's totally not fair to 672. Come on, we can't just pile on him like that, guys. We got to be nicer to him. All right? You know I'm kidding. It's just a joke. Community Fight Nights for Tekken 8, I have no idea. That's dependent solely on how Tekken 8 works online. If Tekken 8 has a lobby system that you can invite people, you can control it, you can kick troll, you know what I mean? Like, I would argue Street Fighter 6 was not that bad, and I didn't really care too much about trolling, because what are they going to do? Just sit there and fucking play and suck? And some people did that. They would literally come into the lobby, play, suck, get slapped, and then get kicked out of the lobby. So who gives a shit, right? But if it's a bad lobby system, then I wouldn't even consider it. We don't know till the game comes out, right? It depends on how much effort, I guess, they put into it. We'll see. King Be Cruel did a super chat. He says, everyone nominate Metal Gear Solid 1 for the marathon event. What would you do that for? I would barely get into the intro. Like, basically, just so you know, if you do the math, the podcast will be an hour. Gaming schedule update, an hour. Food video, arguably half an hour, okay? Tier maker, probably an hour, right? Finale video of the treat, probably half an hour. So already we're at 4 hours there. And you probably figure like an hour per game. You know, that's what we're going to have time for during the Christmas event. So there's not going to be extensive amounts of time to be playing these games, probably about an hour each. So I would look for little digestible experiences that would be fun to play during a marathon. This is not, oh, Phil's starting a big epic playthrough. It's not going to happen. There's not even going to be extra time in January to be doing an extra playthrough because we're playing Baldur's Gate. You see? Big Mac did a $5 super chat. Says, can you give me a rundown on what Death Stranding was about? I have no idea. I can't remember. I remember it was an insanely unique story, but you're going to ask me to try to recall that story years later, how crazy that story was. I tell you this, it was dark. It was riveting. Like, it kept you guessing the entire game. It really did. Like, all these flashes to previous memories of these BBs and things like that. But I'd have to do a refresher course on that. I mean, it's one of the wildest plots, so I'd have to totally refresh my brain on it to remember what the hell it was. Right? It has something to do also with, like, the afterlife and shit. It's crazy. About how where you go when you die and stuff. It's wild. Thank you for the super chat, Big Mac. Sorry that I can't just on-demand spill the beans about the game. Joel Loft, we already addressed that during the news segment, and rest in peace to James McCaffrey. All right, last chance. If anyone has anything they want to bring up, 672 popped his 31-member supporter message and says, acknowledging you from the bottom 5. Wow. Jack Ack has gifted 5 memberships to the community. Congratulations to the following people. Danny the DK. Idris, Bill Williams, Foam S-Word or Sword, and Soundless Blade. Congratulations to all of you on receiving gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Tiak for supporting the community. And we're now at 643 on our climb back to 650 members today. So thank you so very much, guys. All right. Chiak gift attack, says Robbie. The Chiak holiday festive gift attack. There you go. Got it. You have to emphasize it's a holiday festive gift attack. It's not a offensive attack. Right? Do I watch Studio Ghibli movies? Miyazaki might have his last movie called The Boy and the Heron today at the theater. No, he's already making another one. He already announced he's making another one. But I've seen a few. The one that always stands out to me is Spirited Away, because that's one I saw when I was a little bit younger, and I really loved the art style at that time. I had never really seen that full-on, like Japanese art style in a movie like that before, and it kind of blew me away with its themes and interesting stuff, you know? I'm trying to remember what other ones I've seen, because I swear I have seen others. Oh, I saw Nausicaa, and I saw the one about the girl who was like the princess but a wolf. That's not Nausicaa, is it? I saw at least two others. I didn't see the cutesy ones. Like, I never saw My Neighbor Totoro. I never saw Howl's Moving Castle. I never saw any of the cutesy ones. I only saw, like, those ones from that era around that same time. Princess Mononoke. That was it. It was Princess Mononoke and Nausicaa and Spirited Away. And I loved every one of them. I thought they were amazing movies. And the cool thing is, I can watch any of them whenever I want, because they're all on Max. They're all on HBO Max, so one day I probably will get caught up. But maybe I'll do a series of viewings of the Miyazaki movies in the future and do some reviews. That would be pretty cool. Oh, let's see here. I received $1.01 tip, and someone says, everyone suggests Pizza Tower for the Christmas Marathon. Hey, if Pizza Tower is a quick, digestible game that an hour would be fun to watch, then definitely suggest it for the Christmas Marathon. I'm down for that. You guys still have a couple days left, both members and the common viewers here. You guys have the ability to suggest. You still have time. Please do so. Because like I said, probably like Tuesday night-ish, I'll be closing those off and probably summarizing them up and then figuring out the results and going from there. All right? To see what the hell Pizza Tower is, because I have no idea what the hell it is. Joeloff says, I want to round up. I want to say I follow a few channels, but I actually choose to attend yours. You pay attention to your community, and you address pretty much all questions. I respect you. Well, thank you, Joeloff. That goes hand in hand with two things. Number one, because I purposefully conduct myself in a way where I don't overinflate my popularity. I could easily be doing things to draw tons of people to this channel, and you notice I don't do that. I like having the level of interaction that we have. I love it. I really do. Again, if I didn't have the level of interaction we're having right now, I don't think Baldur's Gate 3 would be nearly as good of a playthrough. I'm just being honest. That's number one. Number two, all right, because I have the opportunity to truly interact with all of you on this level, people like this channel and support it. There are people who have double, triple the viewership I have, and they don't get the level of support that I do. It's absolutely true. And people look at me and say, how can that guy who only gets 300 viewers a stream, who only gets a few hundred views per video, who doesn't have nearly as many subscribers and viewers as me, how does he get all that support? I don't get it. He must be a scam artist. He must be a cult leader. He must be... No. It's because I conduct myself differently. I'm not in it to get sheer numbers of popularity. I'm not in it to make it big by any means necessary. Because I have a different kind of content and relationship with you guys, that's why people come by and support my streams. It's that simple. But only people who actually come here and watch the actual real content know that. The people who sit on the outside and watch the slander against me would never get that. They don't see the difference because they're not here to see the difference. You're here, you get it. You see? There's not only one way to operate on YouTube, but they all think that. They literally all think there's only one way to make a living on YouTube. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Okay, guys, I think it is time to end the show because I want to start playing Baldur's Gate. All right? So I thank you all. Great stream today. Thank you for watching. Good stuff. Tomorrow we'll be talking more about Baldur's Gate 3 on the show to tell you how it went. And, of course, how any updates on Street Fighter, any new news stories. Maybe we'll get around to some suggestion box this week. I guess we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, I want to thank you all. Yet another great show. I really enjoyed it. Happy holidays to you all, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for another fun episode of the Level 1 Podcast.